everybody. Karl Scott from Halifax 57 Rescue with my compatriot here, Scott Knox of Knox Tech. And over here, we've got Eric Skog, president of SCSC, the guys that will be diving on our Halifax expedition this summer. And we just want to give you more rundowns on everything that's going on here at the rebuild shop, out in Nanton, Alberta, at our national headquarters, the Bomber Command Museum. Eric's going to give us a rundown on SCSC preparing their team of divers to save our Halifax. So welcome on board, and gentlemen, welcome. And Scott, how'd you like to start us off? Just let us know what you've been doing the last week or so.
Sure, no problem. It's moving slowly because it's a laborious task that we're undertaking, but we're continuing to put the stiffeners into the wing. The stiffeners go from one rib to the next and provide kind of lateral support for the wing skins. But they're drilled out, now riveted in place. We've got a few more to do. And pretty soon we'll have to run off to the supplier to get some fresh sheet of 6061 T6 40 mil sheet for skins. And of course, that's a few hundred holes that we're going to have to drill. But once those holes are drilled, the riveting process will go pretty quick. So we're almost done this wing. It's a matter of weeks. And this section of starboard section will be done. So we've got the port section in behind, 15 feet. We've got the starboard section here, another 15 feet for a total of 30. So those of you that follow the project, you know that we're working on that 30-foot section of main spar, main wing, I should say, central part of the wing. So we're getting very close to the end, and we're eager and ready to move on to other tasks. And we're going to show you in a couple of minutes some of the things we're moving in advance of what's coming up in the future.
That's great, Scott. And Eric, I have some questions for you about the SCSC diving team. But first, I wanted to let you and Scott know what the heck I've been doing out in Nanton, Alberta at our museum. And the big news is we have all the propeller hubs for our Halifax bomber. And we've got all the parts. Our third engine, Bristol Hercules engine, is done. And the big news is, now that we've got the modification process for the propeller hubs of the Halifax, we have found 24 propeller blades. Each blade is like 2 meters long and weighs about 70 pounds, each propeller blade, and a Halifax needs 12. So we found 24. We're going to go and look at them over in England. Thanks to Andy Ward, my buddy in England, he's going to inspect them for us. But that was the huge bugaboo, was to try and find hubs and blades.
What's unique or what's different between the British blades and, say, an American blade? What's the biggest difference?
It's totally reversed aerodynamics. The Hercules engine turns, if you were going to say counterclockwise, rotation of engine. Right. The American radial engines turn the other way.
Right.
So when you've got a 2-meter propeller blade, the aerodynamics of the American engine are totally reversed to the Bristol Hercules engine propeller.
So the global supply of props, it's cut in half right away.
Yeah. So we made the modification. We can now use these propeller blades. And we found 24, but we don't know how good they are. We've got to have the best we can get.
Yeah, that's excellent.
So that's what I like, is that we finally found that solution for propeller blades. And but I've come here to Fort Knox to work at the rebuild shop under his guidance. And you know what I call him? I call him Mother, because he will guide you. He will show you how to do it. And then he will let you go. And every once in a while, he comes over to make sure that it's good. So anyways, that's we're getting along fine. Mother and son have not had a major argument yet. So, but
working on it.
yeah, that's right. So now, Eric, we see all the wonderful photos in the background of your equipment, your team, and that. Tell us about the purchases and the special acquisitions that you've got for the Halifax salvage diving operation this summer. You've got some new additions. Can you tell us about that?
Okay, we have bought a new sludge pump, additional one to increase our capacity to move sand at the bottom. It has arrived. It's in my garage, and we are having a plan for when we are testing it. And we have also bought, I think I can show it here. This is a suction device. We have one of these before, but on the one we have a 3-inch tube here. And now this one has a 4-inch tube and a larger tube where we put in the pressurized water and create the suction. And this is the area where we suck up sand and we release it in this area on a hose going away about 10 meters.
Yeah, that's your Venturi effect, and that will be a great addition, a second suction pump handle device for uncovering the Halifax.
We think it has more than twice capacity compared to the old one.
Good.
Yeah, and what we are going to do now soon, we have a planned meeting where we will go through the old equipment to see if we need to repair, change something, and also buy new hoses, a new connection for the new device, and test it.
Sure. And now, Eric, as you know, I've just put out a brand new progress report on the Halifax project. And folks, I'm just telling you right now, all of this stuff that we're acquiring to dig out the Halifax, we're paying real good, healthy prices for these special tools. So anybody that wants to help with the big diesel pump or with the siphon, the handle, we would love to hear from you. And I have listed all the prices that we've paid for all these special tools. So hopefully people will be supportive and give us the tools to finish the job without straining our salvage budget.
It's kind of cool, like Karl, because a supporter could buy one of the pieces of equipment and then have pride and knowing that they've purchased a piece of equipment unique to the project, and they can actually kind of say, hey, I bought that for the project, and they can kind of take some ownership, if you will, right, of the support that they're giving. So it's kind of neat to be able to say that you can tell your friends and family that you've directly supported the project, and this is how you did it in a concrete, meaningful way.
Yes, that's
right, Karl. But we have been looking for a battery-powered saw to use underwater. I don't know if you've been successful finding one.
Yes, I did find one, and I found a dealer in Canada that could supply it. And remember how we labored very hard underwater to cut some structural members of the Halifax last summer, and we had to do it all by hand.
Wow.
And we cut through a main spar, the divers did, by hand.
So strong.
No, not me. I'm not the expert for going under the water. So, but let's continue to do this, Eric. We'll get all the tools we can, and I will let you know that Gustav over in Denmark, he took the River Thames right out of the water up on dry dock, and they spent days cleaning the hull, fixing the rudder, fixing the prop that had a little ding in it to get ready for the salvage operation. And we're hoping to show you that later this week. But Gustav's not available right now, so we will show you that. But the Danish team, part of our Three Nations team, they are busting their buns just like us to get ready. So that's good. And Eric, you have quite a list of divers, and Jan Christensen is helping you with selecting the team from that group. Is that correct?
Yeah, we have sent out an invitation to participate, and we are starting to get divers who wants to assist and help us during these 2 weeks.
That's great. That's great.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be the last week in June, the first week in July for our big salvage operation this summer over in Sweden. So we'll be able to share that with you as we prepare and when we're actually on site over top of the Halfiax, digging and uncovering. And Scott's been bugging me. He says, you guys get those flaps right away, because what's behind us, we are preparing, well, he's preparing, him and his team, the rear part of the wing to take the flaps.
Maybe we should show everybody what you've been working on. We'll walk you over. Hopefully I don't want to trip on anything. Oh, and there's just a quick view. That's the top of the wing, the other section there. So here we are. So this is a piece of trailing edge from the donor aircraft. It was in our trailer stored outside all winter. And while Karl was here, I thought it'd be kind of get ahead of the game and get him to start working on this section. So like Karl said earlier, we need to disassemble all of this, assess all the parts, see which ones we want to reuse. Some of them are pretty badly bent or corroded. And then, eventually get ready for reassembly sometime down the road.
So Scott, just so people know, and there's a bunch of you purists there that know this indented hole here in this rear part of the wing, that's where the dinghy goes in the wing. So if you land on water, this dinghy will pop out of the top of the wing, and then the crew gets in the dinghy. So this is the dinghy stowage area, and it's on the rear part of the wing. So I've been helping with taking the rivets. Chris Charland and I have been taking out rivets out of this section. We're going to de-skin it, and then we go to the bones underneath to prepare the bones. That's the most important. Then you put on skin later.
Yeah, so we're documenting this as we take it apart so that we can put it back together again later on. And Karl mentioned earlier the flaps. So if you look underneath here, this is the curved cavity at the trailing edge of the wing, and the flaps would fold up inside this curved area here. And there's one of the pivot points there for the flaps. So hopefully when we do reconstruct this later on, we can use real Halfiax flaps to fit up inside this trailing edge. This is the basic structure. That's part tubular and then some other formed components. And this basically attaches onto the trailing edge of the wing, right? Or sorry, onto the rear spar of the wing, which forms the trailing edge. So this is just a small section. This is probably, I would say, a sixth of what we need in terms of full length. We only have a certain number of parts to work with. A lot of the material is good. We're going to have to make from new. We'll have to build all the forms and the tooling to make some of these shapes from scratch. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. That's for the future. Our focus is the main part of the wing. Yes, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Did you know that we have a locker where we're storing some of your parts that you're going to rebuild? It's called Davy Jones Locker.
Oh, there you go.
It's over where that Eric guy lives.
There you go. So
we have to do that.
That's right. So if we can find better parts than these, well, then we'll substitute those better parts. But the trick is when we had a beer over this last night, and we work with what we have, right? And we just keep forging ahead, and hopefully we find more goodies. And with Eric's help,
And there's one thing you guys got to know out there is we have a motto, and the motto is convert the impossible to the difficult and get her done. So, Scott, I guess that's basically our report for today. The folks can go to our fundraiser 417-498 to see the latest report that's come out within the last 24 hours.
Right.
And folks, we would love to have you support us. You donate. We have wonderful perks for you to donate. You can buy a diesel pump to help us recover. You could even help me buy 24 propeller blades for a Halfiax. But what I'm getting at is the support. That's what we need, because we are doing this for our bomber boys, and we're a cohesive team, dedicated, and we've got 3 or 4 different locations, but it's all for the same cause, for our bomber boys. So we hope that you will support us as we move forward.
Silver Dart was one of the first aircraft, or the first aircraft in Canada to fly. J.D. McCurdy and their famous flight in 1909. And then we also proceeded to Canada's first helicopter, a Sikorsky helicopter that was designed by Sikorsky, delivered in 1947. And this is Model 601, the very first helicopter that was ever delivered to Canada, and its sole purpose was to figure out what helicopters do and how it would benefit the Canadian Armed Forces.